Hey everyone, welcome back. We are diving into something a little different today.
Yeah, it's
It's the most wonderful time of the year, right?
that's right.
So we thought let's get into the holiday spirit.
Absolutely.
We are going to be taking a deep dive into a book called Yuletide Essentials, a complete guide to an authentic and magical Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah,
We always talk about, finding meaning and connection in everyday life, and I think that the holidays, especially Christmas, well, all the holidays,
right.
but Christmas especially kind of embodies that search for meaning and connection.
Yeah, and I feel like this book is really going to help us
Yeah.
explore that. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
Um, this book really focuses on creating a Christmas that is unique to you and your family. Like
hmm
finding those traditions that really resonate with you.
Yeah, and it kind of pushes back against the idea that, Christmas has to be this,
Yeah.
picture perfect Hallmark movie. You
Yes.
know?
Yes,
It's
exactly.
like find what works for you. Right.
What is meaningful for you and your family?
Absolutely.
And, embrace those unique elements.
Yeah, so one of the first things that they talk about is decorating and how to make it more meaningful.
Yeah.
And they really encourage you to move away from just like buying a bunch of mass-produced decorations
Oh, yeah.
and instead like try to incorporate more handmade ornaments,
Yeah.
using natural elements like rustic greenery, things like that.
I love that idea
Yeah.
because, when you think about it, creating your own decorations, it's not just about, making something pretty.
Yeah.
It's about putting your own personal touch on your holiday decoration.
Right. It's an experience.
Exactly. It's an experience. And I think that it brings in that element of mindfulness that we always talk about, slowing down,
Right.
really being present in the moment and appreciating the process of creating something beautiful.
Yeah, and it's an activity that you can do with your family.
Yeah.
Your kids can get involved. Yeah, and I think it's a great way to start new traditions too.
Okay. So,
Like imagine you make these ornaments together as a family.
mm,
And then, years later you're pulling them out of the box and each ornament has a story behind it.
right. Oh, that's so
You
sweet.
know?
Yeah.
And it becomes like this visual representation of your family history.
Yeah. And like you were saying earlier, it's also a more sustainable approach. Like instead of
Absolutely.
just buying all this stuff that you're just going to throw away,
Yeah.
you're creating something that will last for years.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not contributing to, the whole consumerism frenzy that happens around the holidays. You're kind of
Wow.
taking a step back and saying, you know what, I'm going to create something meaningful with
Oh,
my own two hands.
yes. And I think that that's so much more valuable.
Absolutely.
Another thing that they talk about is like passing down family recipes.
Oh yeah, food.
Like food is such a
Huge part.
huge part of the holidays.
Well,
Of the holidays, yeah.
And there's actually like a really heartwarming story in the book about
Oh.
this gingerbread cookie recipe that survived a kitchen fire.
Oh, wow.
Their house burned down, but they were able to salvage this recipe, and it's just been passed down for generations.
That's incredible. I mean, it just goes to show you how much meaning people attach to their family recipe.
It's a tangible link
Yeah,
to the past.
it really is. I mean, you think about those smells, those tastes.
Yes,
They can transport you back to your childhood in an instant.
absolutely. Do you have any like special holiday recipes that have
Uh,
been passed down?
Absolutely. We have
Yeah.
this cranberry sauce recipe that's been in my family for like, I don't know, 100 years, it feels like.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because it's not like anything fancy.
Yeah.
It's just like basic cranberries and oranges and sugar,
Yeah.
but there's just something about it,
It's the tradition. It's the tradition. It's the memories that are baked into that recipe.
Yeah.
Every time we make it, it's like we're connecting with all the generations that came before us.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
And it's funny because everyone in the family has their own little twist on it.
Oh, really?
Like my aunt adds a little bit of cinnamon.
Uh-huh.
My cousin likes to put in a splash of orange liqueur.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. But it's all part of the story of our family.
I love that.
It's
Yeah.
like we're all adding our own chapter to the cranberry sauce saga.
Yes. Love that, the cranberry sauce saga.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on from food,
Okay.
the book also talks about the importance of shared activities during the holidays.
Yeah, like what kind of activities?
So things like storytelling by the fire,
Okay.
making crafts together,
Yeah.
creating those little keepsake ornaments that we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
playing board games,
Right.
things that really bring people together. And
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I mean, especially these days, with everyone so glued to their screens,
right.
it's so important to have those opportunities to just disconnect
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
be present with each other.
Yeah. And it's like, those are the memories that you're going to cherish.
Yeah.
Like years from now, you're not going to remember what you were scrolling through on your phone.
Exactly.
But you're going to remember those like cozy nights by the fire.
Absolutely.
Playing games with your family.
And I think that that's something that people are really craving these days,
Yeah.
Like there's this whole movement towards mindfulness and being more present.
Right.
And I think that the holidays are the perfect time to really embrace that,
Absolutely. Okay, so now let's talk about gifts, because
Okay.
that's obviously a big part of Christmas.
It is, yeah.
And I think one of the things that I really appreciated about this book is that it encourages you
Yeah.
to be more mindful about your gift giving.
Okay.
Like, it's not about just buying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. It's about choosing gifts that are truly meaningful. Yeah, I love that they talk about that in the book, because I think that we've all been caught up in that
Yeah.
frenzy of, Black Friday shopping and
Yeah.
Cyber Monday and, just buying stuff for the sake of buying stuff.
Right, it's like we feel like we have to buy gifts for
Yeah.
everyone.
And I think that the book really challenges us to step back and say, you know
Yeah.
what would really bring joy to the people that I love?
Yes.
Is it another sweater?
Right.
Or is it, an experience that we can share together?
Right, or something that they actually need.
Exactly, or something that they've always wanted but would never buy for themselves,
Yes.
you know?
Okay, so they talk about experiences as gifts.
Yeah.
So can you give us some examples of what they suggest?
Oh, yeah, sure. So they talk about things like, cooking classes, if someone loves to cook.
Yeah.
Museum memberships,
Okay.
if someone's really into art or history.
Yeah.
Concert tickets.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, if they have a favorite band or musician.
Yeah.
Or even like a weekend getaway,
Oh, fun. Yeah.
So it's really about thinking about what the person is passionate about
Yes.
and finding an experience that aligns with that.
I love that. And then they also talk about charitable giving,
Oh, yes.
which I thought was a really cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, instead of getting your friend another scarf,
Yeah.
you make a donation to their favorite charity in their name.
Yes.
I mean, how much more meaningful is that?
Right. And you're making a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
So it's like a gift that keeps on giving.
It really is.
Okay, so I want to talk about something else that I thought was really interesting in the book,
Okay.
which is they talk about incorporating Christmas traditions from around the world.
Oh, yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like Christmas is celebrated so differently
Yeah.
in different cultures.
Absolutely.
And I think it's so cool to learn about those traditions.
Yeah. It's a great way to broaden your perspective,
Yes.
and kind of appreciate the global tapestry of Christmas celebrations.
Right. So they give a bunch of examples, but
yeah.
are there any that really stood out to you?
Let's see. Oh, they talk about the German Christmas markets.
Oh, yeah, those are so magical.
Oh, they're incredible, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like all the twinkling lights and the smell of roasted chestnuts.
Yeah. And all the handmade gifts.
Yes. And the glue wine.
The glue wine.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they also talk about Las Posadas in Mexico,
Oh, yes.
which is like a
It's a
procession.
beautiful tradition.
Yeah.
Where they reenact Mary and Joseph's journey to Bethlehem.
Right.
And they go from house to house and they sing carols. And
Oh, wow.
it's just a really joyous and festive celebration.
I love that. So it's like you can incorporate elements of these traditions into your own celebration,
Absolutely.
even if you don't, celebrate Christmas in that culture.
Yeah, like you could have a little German Christmas market in your backyard.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Or you could, make some traditional Mexican food for
Yeah.
your holiday meal. You know?
I love that.
So it's really about just being open to new ideas and
Right.
expanding your horizons
Yes.
when it comes to Christmas.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing
Okay.
that the book talks about,
Yeah.
which is sustainability and mindfulness.
Oh, yeah. That's so important, especially these days.
Right, because I think, with growing concerns about the environment,
Yeah.
it's more important than ever to be conscious of how we're celebrating,
Absolutely.
Christmas.
And I think that the book does a really good job of
Yeah.
giving practical tips on how to do that.
Right, so what are some of their suggestions?
Well, they talk about things like reducing waste,
Right.
like using reusable gift wrap,
Yeah.
composting your Christmas tree, making your own decorations, which we talked about.
Yes.
And then also supporting ethical businesses,
Yeah.
buying gifts from companies that are environmentally conscious and,
Yeah.
treat their workers fairly.
Right.
So it's really about making choices that align with your values.
Yes, I love that. Yeah. Okay, so to kind of sum up everything that we've talked about,
Okay.
it seems like this book is all about creating a Christmas that is authentic and meaningful
Absolutely.
and really reflects what the holiday means to you.
Yeah, it's about stripping away all the commercialism and,
Yes.
the hype
Yeah.
and getting back to the heart of Christmas.
Right, like what is truly important?
Exactly.
The connection, the togetherness.
Yeah, and find those traditions that bring you joy,
Yes,
you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I think this has been a really insightful deep dive
Yeah.
into Yuletide essentials.
I feel very festive now
Me too.
and ready to, deck the halls with
Yeah.
some handmade ornaments.
Yes. And eat some delicious food
Absolutely.
and spend time with loved ones.
That's what it's all about.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And to all of our listeners, we hope you have a very happy and fulfilling holiday season
And a mindful one.
and a mindful one. Yes.